Historic first, Marine General nominated to lead U.S. Naval Academy. In a historic milestone that redefines nearly 2 centuries of tradition, the U.S. Pentagon has officially appointed Marine Corps Lieutenant General Michael J. Borgschulte to lead the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. This move marks the first time a Marine has held the top post in the Academy's 180-year history, signaling a profound shift in the balance of power between the Navy and Marine Corps. The announcement, made by Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, comes amid a broader reshuffling of military leadership, reflecting evolving priorities in joint operations and force development. Borgschulte, currently serving as the Deputy Commandant for Manpower and Reserve Affairs at Marine Corps Headquarters in Quantico, Virginia, is a 1991 graduate of the Naval Academy. His nomination follows a series of high-profile leadership transitions, including the reappointment of Vice Admiral Yvette Davids, who previously led the Academy and is now being considered for a top Pentagon role. Davids, a 1989 Naval Academy graduate, became the first woman and the first Hispanic to serve as superintendent, but her tenure appears to be ending prematurely. Superintendents typically serve 3-year terms before retiring, though the Department of Defense did not provide an explanation for this abrupt change. Her next assignment would require a congressional waiver, and she has not yet completed a post-retirement transition. This decision has sparked debate about the role of Marines in naval leadership and the long-term impact on the Academy's mission. Meanwhile, the Pentagon's broader leadership overhaul includes nominations for new service vice chiefs and combatant command heads across the military. The Navy has referenced the Department of Defense's release on the matter, which outlines the timeline for the leadership transition, though no official date has been announced. As the Senate takes charge of the nomination, the public awaits further details. Borgschulte's appointment underscores the growing influence of the Marine Corps in shaping U.S. military strategy, particularly in the context of global operations. The debate over whether this shift reflects a strategic realignment or a departure from tradition continues to captivate military analysts and policymakers alike. Historic shakeup at the Naval Academy. First female superintendent removed. In a surprising turn of events, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is set to replace the first female superintendent of the U.S. Naval Academy, marking a significant shift in leadership. But here's where it gets controversial. This decision comes amidst a broader purge of top military leaders by the Trump administration, which has been criticized for targeting women and those who prioritize diversity. Let's dive deeper into what this means for the Naval Academy and the military as a whole. Vice Admiral Yvette Davids, who has been at the helm of the Naval Academy since January 2024, is only about 18 months into her term, a tenure that typically lasts 3 to 4 years. However, Hegseth announced on Friday that President Donald Trump has chosen Marine Corps Lieutenant General Michael Borgschulte to take over the position. Borgschulte currently serves as the Deputy Commandant for Manpower and Reserve Affairs in Quantico, Virginia, making him the first Marine Corps general to lead the Naval Academy in its nearly 180-year history. This move is part of a larger trend under the Trump administration, which has seen the ousting of several high-ranking military officials, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the top admirals in the Coast Guard and the Navy, the number 2 officer in the Air Force, and multiple top military lawyers. Critics argue that these changes are driven by a perceived overemphasis on diversity initiatives, a claim that has sparked heated debates within the military community. However, the situation with Davids is somewhat unique. Instead of being forced into retirement, she is being nominated for a new role as a 3-star admiral, where she will oversee naval operations, plans, strategy, and warfighting development as a Deputy Chief of Naval Operations. According to a defense official speaking on condition of anonymity, this move is technically a lateral one, and Davids was competitively selected for it with Trump's approval. If confirmed by the Senate, she will replace Vice Admiral Daniel Dwyer, who is expected to retire. Navy Secretary John Phelan congratulated both Davids and Borgschulte on their new appointments, praising Borgschulte as uniquely prepared to lead the next generation of naval and marine officers and ensure they are ready for the future fight. He also commended Davids for her distinguished leadership, particularly in complex security environments. Acting Navy Top Officer Admiral Jim Kilby echoed these sentiments, stating that Davids is the leader our Navy needs. In her new role, Davids herself expressed honor at being nominated for her new position, saying, "I look forward to continuing to serve alongside America's strongest warfighters." It remains unclear whether Davids initiated her early departure from the Naval Academy, and the Naval Academy has deferred questions to Hegseth's office, which did not provide a response on Friday morning. By law, the superintendent of a service academy typically must retire after serving in the position. However, the Defense Secretary can grant a waiver allowing the superintendent to move to another role, which is the case for Davids. A defense official emphasized that Davids competed against other qualified candidates and earned her new position through merit. And this is the part most people miss. The recent shakeup in military leadership is part of Hegseth's broader focus on how the Pentagon trains its next generation of officers. In May, he rolled back affirmative action policies that considered race, gender, and ethnicity in admissions to the service academies. He also ordered a review of library collections at the service academies and war colleges to remove materials deemed incompatible with the military's mission. Davids, a 1989 graduate of the Naval Academy, and Borgschulte, a 1991 graduate and former fighter pilot, both have deep roots in the institution. The Naval Academy, which produces around 1,000 graduates annually, including about 250 new Marine Corps lieutenants, plays a crucial role in shaping the future of the military. What do you think about these changes? Do you believe they will positively impact the military, or do they signal a concerning shift in priorities? Share your thoughts in the comments below. First female Naval Academy superintendent reassigned amid Trump administration shakeup. A seismic shift is rocking the corridors of power at the U.S. Naval Academy, where history is being rewritten with a dramatic leadership overhaul. But here's where it gets controversial. The first female superintendent in the Academy's storied 175-year history, Vice Admiral Yvette Davids, is stepping down from her groundbreaking role just months into her tenure. Her replacement? A Marine Corps general, a first in the Academy's history, signaling a bold, and perhaps contentious, departure from tradition. And this is the part most people miss. These changes are part of a sweeping reshuffling of military leadership under a new administration, raising questions about the future direction of the armed forces. Davids, a trailblazer who graduated from the Academy in 1989, has been reassigned to a new post as Deputy Chief of Naval Operations, a role that will immerse her in strategic planning and warfighting development. Secretary of the Navy John C. Phelan praised her as a leader who has commanded at every level and whose strategic vision and operational depth will be critical to the Navy's future. Yet her abrupt departure has sparked speculation about the political winds shaping military leadership, especially in a climate where diversity and inclusion have become hot-button issues. Taking the helm at the Naval Academy is Lieutenant General Michael J. Borgschulte, a Marine Corps 3-star general. His appointment marks a historic moment, as no Marine has ever led the institution designed to train Navy and Marine officers. Phelan hailed Borgschulte as uniquely prepared to mold the next generation of leaders in a contested world. But critics may ask, does this shift reflect a broader push to consolidate authority within the Marine Corps, or is it a strategic move to address evolving military challenges? This leadership shakeup occurs amid a broader wave of changes in the Pentagon. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has been methodically replacing top brass, including the removal of the first female Joint Chiefs of Staff Chair and the first female Coast Guard Commandant. The pattern suggests a deliberate effort to recalibrate military priorities, though the long-term implications remain unclear. Davids, in a statement, expressed pride in her new role, vowing to continue serving alongside America's strongest war fighters. Her words underscore a theme of loyalty and service, yet they also hint at the complexities of navigating a military landscape in flux. As the Naval Academy gears up for its next chapter under a Marine Corps leader, one question lingers. Will this bold experiment in leadership strengthen the institution, or fracture its identity? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe these changes are necessary for the military's future, or do they risk undermining its foundational values? Share your perspective in the comments below.